your whole life watching movies, from the bad to the good to the best. Well, here comes a series from the U.S. that rivals all of the rest. From the humidity down in Alabama to the where is Wyoming, we got 50 films to show you. After that you might not feel a thing. It's the worst state of movies to make you sit down and think. And it's the worst state of movies that might even lead you to drink.
How's it going, everybody? Wildman Wes here, and welcome to another edition of Worst State of Movies. While we're in the southeast territory of the states, let's travel up a little bit for our next review. At least this trip wasn't as far as some of the other ones we've had, going to Georgia. For today's movie, my preface is TV shows that are now considered classic from the 60s, 70s, even the 80s, have definitely had their fair share of movie tie-ins. MASH, Dragnet, Adam West's Batman, and so on and so forth. But today we're going to be talking about 2005's Dukes of Hazzard. I went into this already kind of going, alright, it's another movie spin-off of a TV series. I can probably expect a lot that has already been done. However, it's a mixed bag. This is going to be a pretty quick episode. Honestly, this might be considered a phone-in. The movie is about the good old boys, Bo and Luke, helping their uncle and their cousin Daisy make some moonshine and sell across the town and the whole county. Well, the sheriff and a lot of other people in town aren't very keen on this, and they find a way and devise a plan to frame the boys and get the whole farm in trouble to get closed down so they can tear it down and use it for other industrial purposes. Well, Bo and Luke aren't going to let that happen that easy. They go around finding ways to get the money and also thwart the plans of good old Sheriff Roscoe and everybody else in town. They eventually do, and bring everybody that is involved, putting their name to shame, in hot water. Or maybe some cold moonshine. It was very hard to do a review on this film because, much like a lot of other movies that have been adapted from TV series, there's a lot of nods to different episodes. So when I went into researching this, I had a very difficult time trying to pinpoint exactly what I liked and what I didn't like about this film, because there are a lot of nods to certain episodes that I needed to do some more research on, but then again, the Dukes of Hazzard series went on for a very long time, and trying to watch all those episodes, I wouldn't get anything done with this series, so bear with me. We're just gonna go with what I like and what I don't like about this film. What I like about this film, the cast definitely was great for what they could do. Seann William Scott as well as Johnny Knoxville. We had David Koechner. We had Kevin Heffernan from the Broken Lizard series. We had Joe Don Baker. We had Willie Nelson. We had Jessica Simpson. We had even Burt Reynolds plays one of the villains. So that gives you an idea that though some of these performers have an illustrious career, some have what might be considered mid-grade, and then there are some that, well, they may not have had the greatest career when it came to film, but it is what it is. The hijinks in this movie definitely parallels a lot of the hijinks within the original TV series. Not just that, but because of the fact that we have people from the Broken Lizard Film Company, as well as Johnny Knoxville from Jackass, you've got that slapstick comedy and physical comedy that, honestly, it works. It works because they could have gotten away with a little bit more in the TV series, but then again, back in that time, it was a lot harder to pull off, especially with the networks and the censors. Speaking of networks and censors, fast forward 20 years to present day, a lot of the jokes and humor that's in this movie, not only would it be unacceptable on cable. It probably would not be acceptable in a lot of theatrical releases. There's a lot of things that are politically incorrect, and not just that, but I mean even... Oof, yeah, I'm treading very lightly on what I'm saying on this one, because nowadays you can get in trouble for saying just about anything. Let's just say that a lot of people would be offended. That's all I'm going to say. A better way to describe this is it didn't age well. And that's about as far as I can go with that. A big thing that I appreciate about this movie is with the soundtrack, they still at least kept the original theme song of Dukes of Hazzard by Waylon Jennings. Now, a lot of movies that have come out that have been adapted from TV shows from the past tend to do a theme song that's like a remix, or even just have somebody else perform the song. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing. However, when I've ever watched Dukes of Hazzard on reruns or listened to it in the car, it just doesn't sound the same if it's not Waylon Jennings. And that's just my opinion. I don't know about yours, but if you feel that someone else has done a cover of the theme song that was not necessarily, that maybe better or even up to the same standard as Waylon, leave it in the comment section below. I'm interested to see if there's anybody that's done a cover of the theme song that can rival the original. I'm interested on that one. Okay, it's time to grade this. Now, on the pros, I have the fact that they made a lot of nods and references to the complete series of the TV show. On the other hand, the outdated jokes that a lot of people may not appreciate nowadays. This is a mixed bag, and with Waylon Jennings' original theme song being put in here for that nostalgic purpose, I also look at the fact of the humor of not just Johnny Knoxville and Seann William Scott playing Bo and Luke, but also just that broken lizard humor that is... I have a soft spot for it, especially from a lot of their other movies. So when it comes to how I feel about it, well, Dukes of Hazzard, you barely live to see another day. I can still watch it. I can still watch it. I may not necessarily be the biggest fan of it, but I still appreciate it to a degree for what it is. Well, we hope you enjoyed this quick review on Dukes of Hazzard. If you've seen this movie before and you agree with what I've said about it, leave a thumbs up. And if you don't agree, you can leave a thumbs down. Hey, I get it. Not every movie is for everyone. Also, make sure you share on social media, push that little red button, and don't forget to ring the bell for instant notifications. Until then, I'm Wildman Wes, and we'll see you next time for another episode of Worst State of Movies. Take care.
It's